Capcom is going to announce Resident Evil 9 very soon, but when is this going to happen? Let's find out in our today's video. What is up everyone, welcome back to the channel once again. This is Dr. Dizzle here, and in today's video we'll talk about the upcoming masterpiece of Capcom that is going to be Resident Evil 9. I'm already calling it a masterpiece because I have this inner gut feeling that it is going to be an amazing game. So far we haven't heard anything from Capcom except there was just one hint that was given in July 2024 that the game is in development, and then recently we had another hint given by Capcom at the 10 million downloads celebration by Capcom of Resident Evil 4 the remake, and there was a clip that was shared. It was about the villagers celebrating the 10 million sales of Resident Evil 4 remake, and it totally deserved it. That game was totally up to the mark. It was one of the best remakes along with Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes as well. Well, Capcom has been making a great job in remaking its original games, and now we have to look at the Resident Evil 9. So if you look on your screen right now, there was this sign that was given at the end of the celebration video by Capcom, and you can see that if you rotate those symbols, you can see the letter IX in the Roman, which means the letter 9, and we can expect that that might be a hint that Resident Evil 9 announcement is around the corner. So when is the announcement going to be? Well, if you look at the history of Resident Evil games, they usually announce their games on E3, or you can now call the Summer Game Fest, or similarly at the PlayStation Showcase event, which happens every few months. So we have to look at all the information that we have so far. Now, if you look at the history of Resident Evil games, for example, we talk about Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil Village, we come to know that historically speaking, the game is first announced in one year, and then the next year it is released. If you talk about Resident Evil 7, it followed the similar pattern. It was announced in June 2016, and then the game was released in January 2017. And similarly, when we talk about Resident Evil Village, a similar pattern was followed, but it was slightly delayed, most likely because of the COVID thing, and it was announced in June 2020 and was then released in May 2021. The similar pattern was again followed in Resident Evil 4 remake. It was announced in 2022, and then it was released in March 2023, and now it's time for Resident Evil 9. So far there isn't any official announcement from Capcom regarding the game. That means that Resident Evil 9 announcement is most likely going to be during the Summer Game Fest that is going to be on 6th of June 2025. And if the game will be announced on the Summer Game Fest, then we can expect that the game will be releasing somewhere in the early 2026, maybe in January or February. We can't say precisely, but the most likely expectation is that the game will be coming during the first months of the next year. So what is the game going to be about? We have seen that in Resident Evil Village, Ethan Winters died and Rose Winters carried on the legacy. There wasn't much left from the story of the Ethan Winters saga, and now we have more and more rumors coming about Resident Evil 9 that the game will be featuring the OG protagonists Leon and Jill Valentine, the iconic duo that we also saw in Resident Evil Dead Island, and now we might be seeing them as the lead characters of Resident Evil 9. What about the story? Well, again, it's all about the leaks, as there hasn't been any confirmation yet. We can only get a better idea if we get to know about the teaser or the trailer, if Capcom tells us something. So the most likely anticipation is that the game will be featuring that the main characters will be finding out who was behind Eveline project that was introduced in Resident Evil 7. This might be on an island or maybe a village. We can't say anything about it yet. Now, if we talk about the gameplay mechanics, well, we know that the Resident Evil franchise first started in the 1990s, and it was working with those static graphics where the player was just roaming and there were the characters, but there wasn't much of the environmental factors in the game. But then in Resident Evil 4, the old one, which was also considered the game of the year of 2005, and it had those third-person action and adventure elements and also an environmental interactive experience. So it was one of the best games of all times, we can say. But what about now? As we know that in the Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village, Capcom changed the dynamics towards a first-person survival horror experience. Well, in fact, they increased the horror element, but the action felt a bit off the chart. And we hope that Resident Evil 9 will be coming back with the old third-person shooter experience, and that is going to be another action-adventure video game, just like the previous games and the remakes as well, just like we have seen in the Resident Evil 5, 6 and the remakes of 2, 3 and 4 as well. And that is possibly going to make it a successful hit. Apart from that, it is also anticipated that Capcom is working on some of the other Resident Evil games as well, like Resident Evil 5 and Code Veronica remakes, so we can also expect these remakes also coming, as Capcom is one of the best remake developer of over today's time. We have seen a lot of improvements, are totally changing the gameplay experience with a better explanation of the storyline as well. So this is all we know so far. We have to stay tuned for the next few weeks, and we might be having the announcement of Resident Evil 9 in the Summer Game Fest 2025. And if it doesn't happen on the Summer Game Fest, then the announcement will be surely coming on PlayStation Showcase event that is more likely to be happening somewhere in July 2025. That's all we have for Resident Evil 9 so far. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you have liked all the information that I have given to you, and if I come across any new update or if the trailer is released, then we'll be reacting to it. And I hope you guys have enjoyed my other content as well. Make sure to watch my videos, make sure to subscribe and press the notification bell to get notified for the upcoming videos. Dr. Drizzle out.